Zoom only gives me 40 minutes, so I'm kind of going to move quick here. So this is a presentation how to run a week-long drama camp. I said summer camp, but you can do a week-long camp anytime you want, spring break, Christmas. Most of the time we do it in the summer. If you have questions as we go along here, please go ahead and just write them in the chat, and then I'll try to get to them at the end. And worst comes to worst, if we get bumped off or something happens, we'll just come right back on the same link. And we are underway. So agenda really quick. I'm going to talk a little bit about who I am, why you should even listen to me. Then I'm going to really just jump into more of just the camp, setting up a camp, running the basic process, what I do at the camp, and then some details around the camp. And then we'll do some Q&A at the end. So first of all, who am I? I'm a playwright. I write playing with plays. I've got over 40,000 books sold. I have 31 different titles, and I've been doing this since 2003, and I've directed over 150 classes over this time. I'm also a teacher and a coach. I teach homeschool, after school. I teach camps. I teach teachers how to integrate Shakespeare into their classroom, how to run their own drama programs, which is what you're doing today. Parents, I teach them how to do backyard Shakespeare. I'm also a speaker. I do presentations at different locations. I do them for theater groups, homeschool groups, book clubs, libraries. I do them on how to publish your own books, how to market books. And on occasion, I'll go into classrooms and do Shakespeare presentations to get the kids all hopped up on Shakespeare. What we're going to talk about right now is a week-long drama camp. The basic premise behind this presentation and the notes and everything you're going to hear is my experience running this. It's all based on the Playing with Play scripts. And the reason why is because all of these scripts are between 15 to 25 minute long, and they're perfect for a short end of week type script. Now, remember, this is a drama camp, not a theater camp. This is not huge productions, great costumes, great back settings and things like that. This is just camp. It's fun camp. Kids want to go to camp. They want to have fun. That's the theory behind it all. It's based on a week long. It's also based on 3 hours a day. Now, you can do 2 a day if you want. I've done that. And it's up to you. And to answer any of your questions, one of my biggest fears when I first started doing a summer drama camp was, yes, they are off book by Friday. We meet Monday and perform Friday, and it's a lot of fun. So let's go through this. What is playing with plays? First of all, these scripts, they're all truncated, melodramatic. It used to be just Shakespeare, but now it's a lot of novels and stuff. It's basically mostly me being funny, and then some highlighted lines sprinkled throughout that are the famous lines, to be, to be or not to be. But each book, and the reason they're good for camps and after school programs, is each book has 3 scripts in it. And those scripts are small, medium, and large. So if you have a smaller cast or a bigger cast, you can make it. If you have a class of 6 or 16, most likely you can use the exact same book and just modify the play. It's geared around ages 7 to 14. That's when I do my camps. However, that is up to you and what your comfort is. Here's one of the pieces that you should know for casting wise. At the end of every cast of characters, I list down what characters you can double up or triple up if you want, in order to make it easier for casting purposes. This particular play is for 15 to 20 actors, but let's say you have 17 and you got to double up 3 actors. Well, these are the parts you can double up. Every book is formatted the same way. There's 31 titles, 15 Shakespeare for Kids, 16 classics, just launched Demo for Kid about 2 weeks ago. And also I have a full length play called Shakespeare's Hilarious Tragedies. If you want to know more, contact me. All right, now let's talk about camp. The venue, where are you going to do it? There's 2 basic places that you can kind of have it. One is a Parks and Rec type play. It's a little late in the season for Parks and Rec. At this particular, they like to do it about 3 or 4 months ahead of time, have everything kind of lined up. But Parks and Rec is great if you don't have a database of kids to work with. You're brand new at this, you're starting your own business or program. Parks and Rec can typically give you a location, no charge. They'll manage your enrollment. They'll advertise for you. They'll bring kids in. They'll manage the money, everything. You show up, you present, they write to a paycheck. But they do take 30 to 40%. That is, the cost of doing business with them. But it is a great way to get your business up and going. Other places you can do it where you don't have to pay as much for a location, churches, schools, a lot of you are teachers. So you can do it at a school. I've done them at dojos before, a yoga studio, libraries. Lots of times libraries have an extra room that they use for the community. Elks Lodge, Vets Hall, Oddfellows, Moose Lodge, whatever all those kind of fraternal organizations have places they like to give to the community to let use. And you can even do them in your backyard. I've done those before too. It's great because then the parents and the kids show up, they put out a picnic blanket, they'll get out, lawn chairs, and they'll go and watch in the backyard. And that's a lot of fun too. What to charge for the camp? I'm assuming most of this is going to be for profit, but some of you do it not for profit, which is fine. My biggest thing is, if you're going to do it for profit and what to charge, is you need to research other camps in your area, not drama camps per se, but just other camps. What are parents paying to go to a week camp? You got to understand what your time is worth and your reputation in the community or with drama, because a better reputation, you can probably get more. If you're brand new, you might want to start off with a little less. And understand your customer demographics. If you're in Houston, Los Angeles, New York, San Francisco, you're going to charge a lot more than if you live in the country like I do. My basic fee is I have a $150 sign-up fee. It's best to collect this ahead of time. You can do it on the first day. I always say collect ahead of time, because if you have 12 slots in your class, 2 people don't show up the first day, you're completely out. There's nothing you can do. But if they pay ahead of time, it gives them more incentive to show up. I also charge a material fee, and that is the first day. I collect it. I typically $20. That covers script costs, licensing, supplies, art supplies, costumes, things like that. So let's look at some basic numbers just to give you an idea of what this would actually net you. I do 12. That's what I can manage. Some people do 25 kids. It's up to whatever you can manage age-wise and how much support you have, how many helpers. But 12 at 170 is $2,000. Parks and Rec takes $1,400 because I use them for their facilities. And then I run 5 camps in the summer, so you clear $7K. So it's a pretty good. You can do double camps. I mean, you can easily bring that up, but it's a lot of. Okay. So day one, what I do on day one, and I'm going to go through the 5 days, day 1 and day 5 being the most important. Day 1 is I meet the parents. We do a name game, and that name game is just fun games to get to know each other, because I don't know their names, they don't know me, and this is kind of the whole day is the audition process to see what kind of characters these kids are. We do warm-up games, tongue twister games, part of the name games, whatever games you want to do, voice, some stretching. We do that every day. And then I do a quick telling of the story. It's like a 5-minute funny rendition. It's quick, and it gets the kids basic familiar with whatever story we're going to be doing that week. And they start understanding who the characters are. Then I do a read through. I pass out books. We all sit on the floor. We sit in a circle, and I literally pass a book out. They write their names in the book, and I give parts out in order. Boy gets girl, girl gets boy. It doesn't matter. It's just whatever that is. And so the first person's Romeo, the second person's Juliet, Mercutio, Tybalt, and so on and so on and so on all the way around. It's a couple of really cool things about this, because some of the kids start taking ownership to some of the random parts that they got, and that's the part that they want to be. It helps you with casting. It also lets some kids who aren't going to get a big part to get a big part while reading. It's funny too, because I had brothers who were the love interest in one reading we did, and they just couldn't say "I love you." Teenage boys, you got to love them. So then I do audition sheets, and it's simple, and I make them write their top 3 parts or 4 parts if you have a bigger cast or a group of kids, top 3 parts that they want and in what order. And I always remind them, how many people can be Hamlet? 1. And so, not everybody's going to get it. So tell me other parts you want. Then I do auditions, and my auditions are different than anybody else's auditions. And this is the hook for the day, for the week, and it sets the tone for everything. And it's a lot of fun. And I'll talk about what those auditions are in just a moment. Then we do some drama games, and the drama games are just any games you want to do, but they are still part of the audition process. I do not do cold reads because they seem kind of boring. Kids, younger kids, they kind of stew around, and it's camp, so we're having fun. And drama games are another way to keep this audition process going. I'm still watching these kids the whole time. That evening or afternoon, depending on you, I will email out the roles, and the following day, we will start reading on book. But my auditions for the first day, again, not your boring every day, but a fun-filled, creative, energy, awesome auditions. Very simple. I tell everybody, hey, because lots of times we do Shakespeare. In Shakespeare, people die. So give me your best melodramatic death. And they line up and they literally give me their best death. And with the laughter you see on these kids' faces, I mean, this is basically how it always turns out. They have a lot of fun. And then I get a volunteer. Typically, the volunteer I pick is the loudest kid or the one that's being the most obnoxious at the time. And I need a volunteer. Oh, you're a dead body. And then they keep trying to talk. And I'm like, oh, dead bodies don't talk. And they lay down. And I say, all right, guys, line up and give me your best scream. And then after that, I teach them how to do a good villain laugh, a deep, either a mwah ha ha or a deep ha 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 ha, ha, something deep from your belly, or you can do a witch's cackle. They love witch's cackle. Doesn't matter, but kids love playing the villain. And after that, of course, there's always the melodramatic cry, the sob. So we line up, we do this. This takes a while, and they'll want to do it again and again. Sometimes I'm like, all right, in the end, give me one of everything combined and see what kind of little skit they put together. And it's a lot of fun. Now, this is my basic grid of what I do. It kind of helps me understand my week and keep me going. The first day is always is always the toughest because nobody knows their lines. They don't even know what parts they have. But the rest of them are really dictated by the play. But we always show up. We always do warm-ups. Some kind of games. We just, because some kids will show up late. Don't forget bathroom breaks, people. They need to go to the bathroom. And then we do a break. We'll have snacks or something like that. But then we do read-throughs and blocking on the first day. And then I also, on their scripts, I give them their highlighters. I give them 2 highlighters. I give them a blue and a yellow. And I have a saying, blue is what you do, yellow is what you know. So if you have entrances, exits, you die, you highlight it blue. It's just kind of telling you where to be and when. Then yellow, you highlight their lines so it doesn't confuse them in the plays and they can follow through. We start blocking. Tuesday, they're on book. You can see at the top here. Wednesday, they're on book. Thursday, they're off book. Friday, they are dress. And this is kind of the basics of it. By the end of Wednesday or Thursday morning, we do costumes, and usually it's costume fun. I just bring in a box of costumes and I said, these are basically what it's going to be. Have fun. And they just play dress up for half an hour or whatever. And it's a lot of fun. And then on Thursday, I'll break out the Shakespeare tattoos, which I'll send to you. If you pay for a performance license or buy books, I'll send you some free tattoos. And then Day 5, showtime. It's dress rehearsal, obviously. So they show up, they get into costume. At this point, you're helping them put on their mustaches and, tie the dresses, get everything on, make sure things don't fall off. Then we do the first run through. And then after the first run through, which is important, we do a photo shoot. And this is a lot of fun. It's their time to be on the stage, to do the catwalk. And this is where you can actually stage a lot of great photoshops that will not come up during the performance or you may not catch during the show. But I also do this specifically because the venues we always perform in are typically small. There might be 20, 30, 40 people at the most, because it's typically parents and friends of parents. And what they'll do is they'll take their camera and they'll hold it up. they'll try to video or take photos and block the person behind them. And they spend the whole time trying to do stuff on their phone, then watch the show. Takes away from the kids, takes away from everybody else. So I started doing photo shoots, and the kids have a blast. But you get to stage everything. It could be the king and this henchman. It could be the three musketeers. There's a lot of things, and you can stage them and give me the evil look, all right, everyone together as a team, as a group. So, and you can do this, and then you'll send the link to them later with all the photos. And you tell the parents before the show, hey, we're doing a photo shoot. I'm going to send you the link. So don't worry about photoing the show. I'm also recording the show, and I'll tell you more about that in a second. Then we do another run through. Then we take a break, and then we do a third run through if you have time, if you feel they need it or not. It's really up to you. And then I sit them all down on the stage, kind of like what you see there. And I let them know, you're nervous. It's good energy. I tell them why they're nervous. And then what I do is I have them scream as loud as they can. Just get it out of their system. And it just releases a lot for them. And then I tell them the most important thing. I said, I've done over 150 of these plays. Do you know how many of them have gone perfect? Zero, none, nada. So is this one going to go perfect? No, it's not. But are you going to have fun? Yes. And that's the important part. Just have fun. And I just try to pull a lot of the pressure off them so they can have fun, which is really what this is about. This is about getting them to love drama, love Shakespeare, love the novels, love just being on stage and just having confidence up there. Then I let in the parents or the audience, and I don't forget, start recording. I have forgot to hit the record button. It's a nervous wreck. And the recording is because you're doing a performance during the day. Sometimes parents can't get off of work. Grandparents live in Arizona, whatever. You want to be able to share it with them, and you'll share a private link later for that. Then you perform. And then, of course, I always do a commercial, which I'll explain a little more later. And then cast party, which you can do or not do, and make it simple. Keep it simple. Parents bring, a few snacks, yogurts, chips, cookies, whatever, and keep it simple. Costumes, again, keep it simple. This is going to be something that you have 1 week. People aren't going to expect this amazing production. So you're going to have fun. And, rate a dollar store. They have great props there, simple accessories. You can get a bunch of glasses, pop out the lenses. You can get mustaches, foam swords, knights outfits. You can get a ton of stuff at a dollar store. You can go to Amazon or online, Party City, Oriental Trading, and you can get stuff. If you're going to be doing Jungle Book and you need a bunch of masks, I got Curious George monkey masks. And, you can just, buy those cheap, like 2 weeks ahead of time. So it's all done and easy. Goodwill is great. However, their costumes don't come out until October. Doesn't help you much for summer, but they have great costumes at great prices. They put out in October. So if you're setting this up as a business or ongoing, it's a great place to raid and get some good stuff. But if you also know a small thrift store near you that's not a Goodwill, lots of times they'll keep their costumes in the back that they bring out at the Halloween time. But you can ask them, can you bring that out, and you can look through it. And sometimes they'll let you do that. Halloween sales go after November 1st, Walmart, Target, Halloween City, whatever. And you can get some good stuff and great prices. Have kids bring their own costumes. And they really want to do this sometimes. A lot of them have their costumes at home. And they're like, I've always wanted to wear this on stage. I had one do the, I gotta lock the door. I don't want kids rating. I had one kid, she wore Alice in Wonderland and Beowulf. And it wasn't appropriate art, but that's what she wanted. And it's fun. And the kids love it and the parents loved it. So that's all that mattered. Caesar's super easy. It's bed sheets. So you tie them in a knot. Treasure Island, just get some ripped jeans for the kids. Jungle Book, masks or makeup, super easy. Macbeth, homemade kilts. It doesn't matter. I've actually seen a SpongeBob kilt. So it doesn't matter. It just has fun and the audience gets a laugh out of it. The other thing too, especially if you want to run this as a business and you want to get a good reputation, is parental management. This is key because I always tell people with, as a drama teacher, if you want classes or, me as an author, it's like you have two people you have to impress. You've got to win over the parent or the teacher, Then you got to win over the reader or the performer. And both of those, if the parent doesn't want to sign up, you don't get the kid. If the kid has a bad time, they don't come back. So this piece is important. So email them 1 to 2 days before, tell them exactly what's going to happen so they don't set their expectations at some place that you're not delivering. What the kids are going to do, what the week schedule is basically going to look like. Sign in, and most importantly, sign out sheet. You're responsible for these kids, so make sure there's a sign out sheet. I always call parents if they don't sign out and I didn't see them leave, just because I want to make sure, because things sometimes in the end, they'll just take kids and go. Contact information, give them your contact information. So if they're running late, if they're sick, whatever, they can contact you to let you know, and vice versa. You want to be able to contact them if something happens. Tell them the performance time, and there is a performance. Do this in your advertisements too, because I can't tell you, and it hasn't happened in camp that often because it's typically short, but lots of times parents will be like, oh, there's a performance at the end. Shoot, I didn't realize that. Sorry about that. We're going to be up in San Francisco. I'm like, it doesn't really work. But if you know that at the beginning of the week, you can at least cast appropriately. And then what you expect from them, bring a snack for the kids, bring the material fee on the first day. I expect you to rehearse at home, memorize lines, and hey, I need help with costumes. If they have something, let's do that. And also do the photo release waiver. I have a very simple one, but this allows me to take these photos and put them on Instagram, Facebook, share them with you here, and use them at a later date. And so it's always good. Also, parent management, another touch point. Email the roles Monday afternoon. Tell them we had a great day. Here are the roles. They'll be reading the book. Please, we'll highlight in class. And then daily, before and after the program, you'll be talking to them. You're available for questions always. If they want to discuss anything, you can tell them the positive things you saw, some behavior challenges. This is just good management of your parents. And then the last thing you're going to be doing, emailing them after the performance. This is you're going to be sending them the video link, which will be a private link. That video link, what I typically do for a video is I'll set up an iPad in the center. I'll set up my iPhone. I'll leave it on the stage as an extra mic up front. And then I just drop them in Movie Maker, copy, paste, and just put it up on YouTube. It's pretty easy. Photo shoot, again, private link so they can share it. And then tell them, thank you. By the way, I got future classes, hey, midsummer starting next week. There's a couple spots left, better hurry. And lots of times I have kids after the first week, they sign up for 2 or 3 classes afterwards because they had so much fun and they want to be with their friends. They've built great friendships through this. Fill time. There's times between rehearsals. There's times when you have 2 or 3 kids on stage and the rest are behind you. I work solo mio. So I'm by myself. If you have helpers, that's great. They can do drama games, manage activities. If you don't, then, these are some other things you can do. But between snack times, drama games, go outside. When we do our read through on the second day, the facility that I use is right by a lake and there's a gazebo out there. And so we will go out there doing our first read through on the Tuesday morning, and we'll all just sit out in the gazebo right by the lake and we'll do our read through out there. And lots of times kids are just getting up and acting at the gazebo anyway. So it's a lot of fun. Arts and crafts, raid a dollar store or a craft store and have some things available. Pens, markers. If you're doing Romeo and Juliet, just let them make their own masquerade masks, and just Caesar. If you want to have them color their togas, Who cares? Just have fun with all the different things that you can pull off from an arts and crafts. Create bios. I've got a sheet that I create that says, where are you from? Brothers and sisters. Have you acted before? What's your dog's name? Blah, blah, blah. And then I put these up before the performance so the parents, while they're waiting outside, can read about their kids or the other kids. Create a playbill. Some of the kids are much more, crafty with this, and maybe they create a playbill for some of the parents. Create a poster. They can do a drawing, Midsummer Night's Dream. There's Puck and a donkey and the tree and like the forest, and they can say the cast of characters. Oberon is this, Titania is this person, blah, 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 and they can have it up. And sometimes they're just crude, but it's okay. The parents love it. You can always do the Shakespeare insult generator, which is free on my website. And this is always fun. It's a great way to teach them more language, love Shakespeare, and have fun. I've even had kids take some insults and go and integrate them into their characters in the play, which was pretty funny too. Let's see what else. Draw backdrops. At a dollar store, you can get craft paper for $1 for a small little roll, and you can put a couple of those out, a bucket of pens, and just draw it. Maybe they're on the high seas in Treasure Island, they're drawing the ocean. Maybe they're in the woods and they're drawing trees or a castle in the distance, but just let them have fun. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's fun, and that's the whole point of it. And keeps them busy. Play with makeup. Give them makeup challenges. Have them, one day you're doing scars, another day you're doing stitches, another day you're in animals, and so on and so forth. Some people are much better at the makeup than others, but just have fun with it. And oh, there's an idea. Rehearse lines. That's a good one. Maybe have them write an epilogue. Epilogue is one that another teacher taught me. Is, I had a couple kids that were bored, and they would go and just write an epilogue. 5 years later, what happened? And then the kids would come out and perform like 1 or 2 minutes of 5 years later. And so it's creative. It's getting them to work on their own writing skills, and it's a lot of fun. Easiest place to perform, Julius Caesar, because there's bed sheets. And honestly, bed sheets are free. You go to any hotel you can, go to the maintenance area where they wash them, and they will have a stack of perfectly cleaned and folded sheets with slight tears in it or imperfections. And typically what they do is, as they're making the bed, they see, uh-oh, there's a rip, can't do this. And so they fold them up, and they usually have a stack, and they'll give them to you for free. It's also a relatively shorter script, so it's easier to do. Let's see what else here. Jungle Book, easy costume. Everyone's on stage. It's total ensemble in the sense that if you can be a wolf, you can be a monkey. People are on stage all the time. Christmas Carol, I know it's not summer, but I do this every year annually. 1 week, it's short, it's easy, and kids get used to coming every year. Midsummer, Macbeth. Midsummer is an ensemble piece. They will, everybody has about the same amount of lines, so it's easier. Macbeth, it's a relatively shorter play compared to some of the others. So these are some of the ones that seem to be easier for me to execute. And things that work for me, it's just kind of one of the last slides just to give you an idea. Hands off. Probably Thursday afternoon, definitely by Friday morning. I tell the kids, I am not helping you anymore. I'm not giving you lines. I'm not saving you. You're on your own. And I stand back and I watch them, and I stop guiding, and they suddenly start stumbling a lot, but then kids start picking each other up, and they really start uniforming to this great teamwork. And after 2 or 3 rehearsals, by the third one, they know where to help people. They know what lines they have to work on. They know where their props need to be so they don't forget them. It works really well. Commercial, it takes a lot of stress off of me. I used to stress about, he doesn't know his lines. And now I'm like, it happens. Commercials, one of my favorite parts. Again, not my idea, another teacher do it, but I do it all the time now with all my plays. The kids who have smaller parts, and I'll tell this during casting, I have them write, direct, rehearse, everything for our commercial. And I literally will stop the play in the middle. I'll come out on, I hope everybody's enjoying the show, but now in order to pay for these massive productions, we need a word from our sponsor. And it's usually a commercial it's always a commercial that's relative to the play they're watching. That picture up there you see is it's the Pitchfork 5000 that was done in Frankenstein. And they came up with some spiel like, tired of your monsters getting away with your pitchforks and torches? Try the Pitchfork 5000. And they did a little spiel with that. I've seen Shake Spotify, Midsummer's Ice Cream, Pirate Insurance, Geico themes, and what else? I've seen 3 Musketeer bars actually thrown into the audience for 3 Musketeers. A lot of fun. Commercials are great. I also, for casting, I have character line quantities you can find on my website. And this allows you, depending on which play it is, what character, it'll let you know if you're doubling up, what character, who's getting more words, who's getting more lines, and it just helps with casting. And the other thing I do too is I do this only with camps. I split the roles for the large parts. You see Macbeth has twice as many as Lady Macbeth as anybody else. That puts a lot of pressure on the lead person in a short week. So what I'll do them, and I'll tell them at the very beginning, hey, there's going to be 2 Macbeths. We're going to split that role in half. And so they're level loaded. They get to do fun stuff with the other kids when they're not on stage. But it makes it also 2 kids get a lead role. You have less pressure on them. You can have more kids in more bigger roles. It's a lot. It works a lot better for all the kids. And tell them ahead of time that you're going to be doing this. Play to their strengths. You have a kid that juggles, integrate it in, plays the guitar, integrate it in, sing Bare Necessities and Jungle Book. Great. Don't tell Disney. And it's just have fun. I mean, work with whatever skill sets they have and just have fun with it. Okay. Scripts, performance, licensing. I always get this question if you use my plays. The scripts, you have 2 choices on paperback. You can get them from me. It takes about 2 to 3 weeks to get, or $8 each, or $7.25 if you order over 30 and there's mix or match quantities there. Or you can do Amazon. Amazon's 2 to 3 days and it's $10 each, a little more. Or you can do a mix of that. Get minimal amount from me, and then if you have a couple extra kids, just get them quickly from Amazon. Or you can do digital. They're $5 each. I prefer paperback because it's a keepsake for the kids. All the kids, they sign each other's scripts, so it's memory. And a lot of them will have, my kid has like 24 of them on his shelf, but a lot of kids will have a bunch of them because they'll come back again and again. It's a great keepsake, but it doesn't matter to me, whichever way you choose. If you're doing a free camp or a camp where it's nominal fees that you're doing mostly out of the goodness of your heart, they're $2 each. Just talk to me. But if you're doing it to make money, then they're $5 each for the digital and the paperbacks. Performance rights. If you have a paying or a donation audience, it's $45 per show. If it's a non-paying audience, it's a pay what you can rate. If you can pay $45, great. This is how I make my living. But at $0, fabulous. I get it. I know school budgets and homeschool budgets and things like that, or anything in between. Awesome. I'm totally stoked. It's up to you, since you don't have an audience paying for it. So totally up to you. I want to leave you with Nothing Will Come of Nothing, from King Lear, Act 1, William Shakespeare. Basically, if you don't try anything, you'll never get anywhere. And I want you to know something is that there's a lot of things I just left you here. There's so much more in my head that I can throw down, but I wanted to try to keep it in 30 minutes. And but the one thing is, I want you to know you can contact me at any time. Don't try to do everything if this is your first time doing it. Do a couple of them and then bring in other pieces later. And again, contact me any way you want. And now, without further ado, we'll do Q&A. Zoom's going to kick me off in 4 minutes. So what I'm going to probably do is I'm going to probably go off and then log back in for people who have Q&A in just a few minutes. So let's take a look at this. Let's see what questions we have here. Thanks so much. Great. How can you enforce parents not taking? You can't enforce parents to not take pics or video. You just can't. They do it, and you try to remind them at the beginning that you have it covered. You bring it up in your email that you have it covered. You just mention it 2 or 3 times, and then you go from there. They will still do it. I've honestly had one that saved me because my camera died for some reason, but I took her little iPhone version and we ended up uploading that one, so that helped. What is the best time of day to host the camp? I do after school programs during the day for homeschool. I don't do them after school because you're competing with soccer and baseball and all those. Actual summer camps, I like morning better. I usually do 9 to 12. But really camps, they'll be anytime. They can be after lunch. So some people will do a camp in the morning here, a different type of camp there. But I am a 9 to 12 type person. It's summer. I like to sleep in a little. I won't lie, I sleep in all the time like that. That's basically what I do with that. Any other questions? I have you all muted too. I can't unmute you all. You guys can unmute if you want and ask a question if you'd like. Or what I'll do is actually let me hang up, and then I'm going to come right back into the room. And if you want to just talk and have questions, hop back on and we can have a short discussion. Oh, how do I split roles? I got 2 minutes here. I'll help you with that one. Splitting roles, basically, I know, let's say Macbeth there showed 45 lines. I'll look for a good break point that's around the 40 point, and it'll be between scenes. And I'll give one part second half, one part first half. And then, but what I will do is I will let the audience know ahead of time, because they're going to suddenly question what's going on. So you always tell them ahead of time so they're not surprised. The second thing is I might even throw in an extra line going, wow, Macbeth, your hair's shorter than it was. Got a haircut? Yeah, I sure did. And they'll just have fun because, it could be a tall girl in the first half and a short boy in the second half. And, it's kind of obvious to everybody. So you just poke fun at the obvious and just throw in an extra line. With my plays, you don't have to be verbatim. You don't have to follow. You just have to have fun with the scripts. And maybe you said, but do we have access to your slides? The slides, well, I recorded this. So we will, I'll be sending out the recording. And so you'll have access to the slides that way. Yeah, you bet. Any other questions? Okay, it's kicking us off. You're welcome. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. And if you have any ideas or you do anything that's fun, creative, send them my way, because I love adding and sharing information that I get with other people. I'm going to hop back on. So if anybody wants to come back in and talk, I'll talk to you soon.